Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another amazing segment of the Black Girl Encourage Her. I am your hostess with the mostest, Sheniqua Inspires, and you know I've got another gem for you on today. So I'm not even going to sit here and try to hype her up. I'm just going to bring her to the stage. You all please meet my new sister friend, Ronnie. Hey, girl, hey.
Dr. Shaniqua, it's so good to see you on this beautiful Sunday morning and you looking bright and sunny in your purple. I
Thank
am
you.
Ronald Lynn Latham. Everybody, friends, colleagues, family calls me Ronnie, so nobody calls me Ronald Lynn. And so let me just give you a little bit of background about me. I'm a federal employee. I also have my bachelor's in criminal justice, got that in 2022. Yay. And I am very active in my church. I work for one of the food pantries every third Saturday. Been doing that for over 9 years. I'm a member of Mending Hearts Ministry, where I minister to moms who have lost children. I'm a visionary author for a book called Gracefully Broken, Beautifully Restored. And now I'm officially an author with a book coming out this month called Love, Lust, and Starting Again. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, well, congratulations. Listen, there are big things popping for Ronnie on during this season of her life. And I'm so grateful that you said yes to being a guest on the show. Now we're gonna get into talking about those books, but how you and I connected, and shout out to we both have a sister friend, Deborah Daniels,
Yes.
Minister Deborah Daniels, Dr. Deborah Daniels, all of that good stuff.
Yes.
She has a grief ministry, and I've been a guest speaker. You've been a guest speaker on there, and we've connected in that manner. So
Yes.
we've known each other, or we connected through grief.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I don't want this conversation to really be about that, but it really tells the story of who you are in the season and the mighty things that God has you doing in this season. So, can you start us off in a conversation about the loss that you've endured?
So, yes, in 2016, 5 days before Christmas, actually December the 20th, and you know how you forget dates, but that date is embedded in my brain. I was greeted by two detectives and three police officers at my door who came to tell me that my son had been murdered in Delaware. And I I was in a state of shock.
Mhm,
Like, I don't know if anybody knows, but somebody coming to you and telling you your child has been murdered,
mhm,
your brain just shuts
mhm,
down
mhm,
because you can't even believe this happened. And you can't believe these five people are standing in your foyer of your home telling you this happened. And so that was the first traumatic thing that happened. And I didn't even really get to grieve my son, who we buried on December the 29th after Christmas, when I
mhm,
lost my husband on January the 3rd of 2017. I was helping him put on his socks and he laid back on the bed. His eyes rolled back in his head. I called 911, and because I didn't know how to do CPR. And by the time they got him to the hospital, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to hook him up to a bunch of tubes. He's going to be fine. The doctor came in and said his heart stopped and we couldn't get it to start again. And so that was trauma number two. And I just said, God, you got to be punking me, because it was 2 weeks to the day that
mhm,
I found out my son was murdered, that my husband was now gone after 32 years of marriage. We married when I was 19 and he was 21. So never knew what being a widow was, but I say to people, I woke up a wife and by noon I was a widow.
mm. My God. Whew. Whew. That's heavy, right?
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yes.
Let's not stay there. I don't want to stay there. And surprisingly enough, I am wearing my purple. My purple is my symbolic color for
Okay.
my angel in heaven. And this month is actually um, the month that we remember, right? That we remember when she was shot and killed. So
Wow.
my heart is with you, um, because gun violence is real, right? It's
Yes.
real, and it doesn't just take away one individual. It literally destroys and blows holes in entire families, entire
Yes.
legacies,
Yes.
get crippled because of it. So people really need to think a little bit more before they pick up a gun to handle whatever they believe is their issue.
Yes.
But then you told us about your husband, and it is studies have shown that you literally can die of a broken heart.
And he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did. We believe that exactly what happened. I remember having a conversation with him, and he said, "You gave birth to him. I love him, but you gave birth to him,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to be here to see you through this." And I had no idea what he was telling me. But
Wow.
I realized it way after he transitioned that yes, he was not going to be here to help me through my son's death. And he definitely is not here to help me through his transition. And I
Wow.
said, there's nothing in the Bible, as much as we read it, as much as we memorize scriptures, there's nothing in the Bible that prepares you
Mhm.
for the type of tragedy and trauma that I experienced in a
Mhm.
2-week time frame. And I
Yes.
know people experience these type of traumas in within days of each other,
Mhm.
sometimes on the same day. But
Yeah.
to lose my 34-year-old son who still resided with us in our home, and
Mhm.
then to lose my husband, I said, God, where is my protective covering
Mm.
now?
Mm.
Because I also had to put my dad in a nursing home the month after my husband passed, and then he passed a year and a half later.
Mm.
So my
Wow.
son, my husband, my dad, all the men who would protect me
Mhm.
were physically gone, and I truly had to dig my heels in and look to God to be my protector.
My gosh. Yes, yes, yes. We do have to lean on him, but man, we don't like this. We like to do it by choice, right? We don't like the circumstances to push us to it. It's like, come on, Jesus, I was coming. I know you my protector. Like, yeah, I didn't need everything, all the rugs to pull from underneath my feet. Like,
Wow.
man, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so let's just get to some words of encouragement, because I don't want the audience to sit and in that heaviness, because like I said, it's a heavy start to a conversation. Um,
Right.
but so you lost your husband in 2017. Fast forward us through to now 2025.
Oh my gosh. So I
Tell
won't
us
have,
what life looks like for you on the other side.
so I can thankfully say I'm on the other side.
Yes,
But
glory.
grief is a process. And so I don't want anybody to get on here and think you become this new person overnight. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing that happens is when you have death of any loved one, you are in a state of shock. You may go through depression. You may go through bargaining. You may go through all of these emotions and feelings. So you're not the same person. After losing my son and my husband, I wasn't the same person. I was no longer a wife. I still was a mom, but now I'm a mom of one, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one is in heaven. So who am I now
Mm-hmm.
that these titles and roles have been stripped of me? And what
Mm-hmm.
do I do with this? And I would say, because my son was murdered, I was angry. I
Yes.
walked around angry for 3 years. 3 years. I wanted someone to bump into me. I wanted someone to hit my car, hit my cart. I was going to give them the beat down of their life because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted someone to feel the pain
Yes.
that I was feeling. And we have something in my church, the Perfecting Church. My pastor is Pastor Kevin Brown.
Okay.
We have something called peace cells, and they're smaller groups within the church. The men have theirs, the women have theirs. And my peace cell leader said to me, she said, Ronnie, I'm watching you get angrier and angrier every day. Would you be open to counseling? And for some reason, I just popped off with a yes. And she introduced me to this wonderful woman, who just let me sit on her couch and just pour out my heart. Just, I think I emptied the tissue boxes every time I went there for the first 6 months. And even in that, I was introduced through Minister Angela Brown, my pastor's wife, to a group called Mending Hearts Ministry. I had to go through 10 weeks of intense training. And I will say what happened during one of those trainings is there was an exercise and there was a pegboard, and it was sort of like made like a cross. And so they said, we want you to write your loved one's name on the heart and write one word on the back. Then say a prayer and hang your heart on the pegboard. And I want to tell you that was the hardest exercise I ever had to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I went to get up, Dr. Sheniqua, I felt like I had lead in my shoes. I
Mm.
got up, I sat down. I got up, I sat down. And God finally said, go. And as I'm walking slow to the pegboard and I hang my son's name on there and I'm crying. And then I hang my husband's name and I'm crying. And then I just holler out, and it just felt like this gush
Mm.
in my chest opened up and poured out. That's the only way I could explain it.
Yeah.
I had it finally accepted
Mm.
that they were gone,
Mm.
finally released all of the anger, all of the pain. I remember dropping in the middle of the floor, and all the ladies surrounded me and just started singing praise and worship songs. But I can say when I got up off that floor, the anger was gone.
Yes.
It rushed out of me like a river.
Mm.
It poured out of me. And that was the catalyst to my healing journey.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
was the
Yes.
catalyst. That was, God knew I needed to
Yes.
get to the other side of this anger, this pain, because I couldn't stay there. He
Mm.
had things he needed me to do and wanted me to do. And I will say, I did not choose this road.
I know that's right.
It chose me.
Yeah.
It chose me. And I remember asking God, why? My son,
Mm.
why, God,
Mm.
why? And I heard a small voice say, why my son?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
that's when I said, okay, all right, God, what do you want me to do? And when
Yes.
I say I poured in to Mending Hearts Ministry, that I can say that moms are looking at me and saying, wow, she hasn't lost her mind.
Mhm.
Wow, how is she still standing? How is
Yeah.
she still smiling? And I'm ministering to other moms. I'm helping them get through Mending Hearts Ministry, through
Yes.
just them calling me up and saying, can you talk? You got a minute? I'm feeling
Yes.
this type of way. I'm feeling that. Even I had a mom say, how do I forgive the person? And I don't even know who murdered my son. I said, I
Mhm.
don't use the word forgiveness. I use the word release.
Yeah.
I release the person that murdered my son. I
Yeah.
released them to God, because what he did is now he's got to answer to God for that. But I wasn't going to allow that person to consume my life. So when I released him, I can sleep. I
Mhm.
don't think about it. I don't dwell on it.
Yes.
I don't do anything. It was funny the other day. I was like, I couldn't even remember his name. I was like, what
Mm.
is his name?
Yeah.
That's how you
Well,
get
God.
so
Yes.
tapped into God and allowing him to mend those pieces of your broken heart,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
your heart is broken And I even write in my book, I said, you know how you look at your heart and it may be cut in four pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Two of my pieces were ripped from me.
Mm.
So how is my heart going to function missing two key pieces?
Yeah.
And my favorite scripture is 2 Kings 20:5. I
Mm-hmm.
have heard your prayers. I have seen your tears, and I promise to heal you.
Yes, Lord. Amen. I love that. I love that. I have a question for you, Ronnie. And sometimes I feel like I can hear the people asking the question who's watching this on YouTube. Like, I got you guys. Okay, I'm gonna ask her the question. So you're now working with Mending Hearts Ministry, and every time you're encountering others, how do you not go into your own trauma again? Like, how do you avoid revisiting your own trauma every time someone comes to you and shares their story, their grief? Because human nature in us is, when we hear about somebody, who loses a loved one or whatever, we in our minds immediately go back to the ones we loved and to that feeling, and then that's how we connect to them, because we remember how it felt when we lost this person, or how it felt when we got the news, right? So when you were telling your story of the policeman going to your door, there are people who can remember when they got the call, when they got the knock on the door, right? So how do you avoid, or if you don't avoid it, how do you avoid staying in your trauma every time you hear someone else come in and tell their story of their trauma?
So I'm going to say in Mending Hearts, yes, some of our sessions are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, yes, moms say it takes them back. For me, I'm listening, and
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced the most traumatic thing I could experience in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, there are triggers, but I think at the moment that God is directing me to help somebody else, it's not for me to focus
Mm-hmm.
on my hurt and pain. It's for me to focus in on where they are.
Yes.
And yes, I do, go through my mind of what I went through and the things, but I try not to make it about me.
Yes.
I try not to make it about me because each situation is different. So
Mm-hmm.
in Mending Hearts, we have moms who have experienced stillborn
Mm-hmm.
births. We've had moms who've lost their children to drug overdoses. We've
Mm-hmm.
had moms that lose their children to mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
suicide.
Yeah.
And so, what I try to do when I'm talking to moms is, yes, there have been times in Mending Hearts that I've got emotional because my mind takes me back. But I try not to do that because God has been showing me that this is their moment to share,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just supposed to listen and give sound advice.
Yes.
And so, yes, there are triggers,
Mm-hmm.
but in those moments, I try not to be triggered because this mom is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
This mom, they'll ask me, well, how did you get to where you are? I want to feel normal again. There's no feeling normal again.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone.
Yeah.
But you got to allow God to transform you. You got to allow God to put those broken pieces of you back together. And
Yeah.
yes, it's easier said than done. Just have to allow God to come in and mend the broken pieces of your heart. And there's no time frame for that. I can't tell you you're going to be okay in 2 years. I can't tell you you're going to be okay in 5 years. I can't tell you if you're going to be okay in 20 years
Right.
because there's no time frame, but you got to do the work. You
Yes.
gotta you gotta do the work. You can't just sit there. Like I said, I went to counseling. I was with my counselor probably for 3.5, almost 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't just talk about my tragedies. We talked about my childhood. We
Mm,
talked about who Ronald Lynn is, who Ronnie is, and who is Ronnie becoming. And I remember my counselor saying, Ronnie, do you ever think you'll talk about your tragedies? And it was an emphatic no. Who
mm,
wants to talk about this?
mhm.
And I have to say, God turned my pain
Yes,
into a purpose.
yes,
And I feel like the majority of people that I've met, or women that I've met, even including you, Dr. Sheniqua, God takes that pain and he does something great with it, because
yes,
it's all to glorify him,
yes.
not us. And so I've seen moms become creative and make their own greeting cards. I've seen
Mhm.
moms start other groups for women who have lost children. I've seen moms write books.
Yeah.
I've seen moms do all kind of things. And we have gifts down on the inside of us
Mhm,
that God wants to bring out. And I know you're probably saying, well, why does something tragic have to happen for
mhm.
him to bring out these gifts? But Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know
Mhm.
the plans that I
Yes,
have for you, says
yes,
the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you.
yes, Lord.
So
Good word, good word.
he knew the plan for my life. I didn't know the plan.
Yeah.
And I remember saying years ago, because my husband wasn't an avid churchgoer, neither was my son. Um, and I remember saying, oh my God, who's going to utilize my husband and my son if something happens to them? And my pastor was like, God was preparing you then.
Hmm.
Because who thinks about that? Can you say who's sitting around thinking about who's going to utilize this
Mhm.
person if they die? Nobody's thinking about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that thought crossed my mind. And
Mhm.
my pastor said, I'm the first family that he's done a funeral for back to back.
My God. Wow. Yeah, that's heavy stuff. But what I loved about it is, and what I heard was there's a different level of healing. So
Yes.
how do you sit day in, day out, listening, counseling, supporting, nurturing, guiding people through their grief without revisiting your own? You can revisit it, but you don't stay there, right?
No.
You've learned how to tap into it for your strength rather than sitting in the pits of sorrow for yourself, and it's a different level of healing. And like you mentioned, there's no telling on when you're going to get to that point, but there is a guarantee in there, and I'm willing and I'm bold enough to give that guarantee that if you trust God with your heart, he will mend it.
Yes.
He
Yes.
will heal it. He will renew you. And I had put up on one of my Facebook statuses about God being the restorer. Jehovah El Ashabib, he is our restorer. But when we
Yes.
think about restoration, we think about, reviving, what was old, what was there, sprucing it up, making it look new again. But the word restoration also means to become something different, right?
Yes.
So when you renovate your house, right, it's still your old house, and you can put up some paint and you can change the furniture and everything. But then there can be a total restoration where, like, you're tearing down walls, you're adding rooms, and, so the restoration can happen, right? God is the restorer, and he can take your broken pieces, those broken, shattered pieces. Or you, as you mentioned, Ronnie, like, how can you missing two chambers? Like, what's going on? Like, how can your heart beat? How can the blood flow when you're literally missing two chambers? and
Yes.
and the Lord has this unique way in which he can.
So the healing levels are very different for each mom.
Yes.
Each mom who has experienced grief. And I focus on moms because I'm a mother who's lost a child. I focus on my husband because I was married for 32 years. And so, and it's hard for me to even separate the two because the one happened and then the other happened. So it's like
Mhm.
my grief is intertwined. And sometimes people just want me to talk about my husband, but somehow my son gets intertwined in there. And then people want me to talk about my son, and sometimes my husband gets intertwined in there because the transitions were so close.
Mm-hmm.
And the grief it's at different stages. I'm grieving my son and my husband, and I even say to my daughter, "You're grieving your dad." And so, but both the grief journeys are very different, and who you are or who you're becoming is very different. You were talking about restoration, and yes, God had to restore me. It's funny, I go back and look at pictures on Facebook of me during that time. I don't look the same.
Yeah.
My face is not the same. My hair is not the same. My smile is not the same. My weight is not the same. Um, God did a whole, and I still feel like I'm evolving. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, when you talked about restore, he didn't just take pieces and say, "Oh, I'm a fix this, Ronnie," or He said, "I got to totally." It's
Make it.
almost like you got a mound of dirt
Yeah.
and it's packed down. Or better still, clay. Clay is nothing until you begin to do something with it. If you're going to make a cup or a vase or a saucer, you got to take that clay and you got to mold it. And
Yeah.
so he had to take me and mold me through my anger, mold me through that gush of releasing that anger. Then he said, now I got to begin to heal you. So
Yeah.
now look at things different. I have a different understanding. Material things don't mean as much as they meant to me before. I'm
Mm-hmm.
focused in on helping others. I feel like the word says God is a comforter, and as he comforts us, we're supposed to comfort others. And
Yeah.
so that's what I see myself walking in. And as I'm comforting others, he continues to comfort me. I'll get a phone call, I'll get a text, I'll get an email, somebody reaching out to me. And I said, God, I'm reminded I'm not forsaken, I'm not forgotten, I'm not lost. You love me.
That's right. That's right. To God be the glory. I love it. I
Yes.
love it. I love it. All right. So let's come up. Let's come up. We got to talk about this here book. So you got a new book, right? And when I saw this book, the title on Facebook, I said, "Oh yeah, we got to talk about this." This book is entitled "Love, Lust, and Starting Again." Look, I kind of want to just jump straight in the middle, but let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about this book, and it comes out this month. So this segment airs in a perfect space and time. You all are in the right position to grab a copy of Ronnie's new book. Uh, let's start. Let's start. What can you tell us a little bit about this?
So this book um, really deals with the dating journey.
Okay.
Remember, I said I got married at 19. My husband took me off the market as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get the dating experience.
Mm-hmm.
So all this love, and that's what people say grief is love with no place to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all this love built up in me, and I'm like, well, I'm still young, I'm still vibrant, I still got it going on. Let me get out here and see what the dating pool is like. And the Lord have mercy. The dating pool for me, well, let me just say this. I was totally green. Didn't know what kind of conversations to have with men. Didn't know if I wanted to go online or in person. Didn't know anything. I
Mm-hmm.
trusted my husband. I had been with him for 32 years. So I'm not thinking people going to lie to me. I'm not thinking people got hidden agendas. I'm not thinking about anything. But baby,
Mm-hmm.
there's a section I say too much too soon. I was telling people I was a widow. I was telling people I lost my son. And
Yeah.
girl, when I tell you people saw dollar signs, oh, she's loaded. She done lost a husband and a son. Oh, she got money. Let me tell her. Let me tell her how much I love her. Let me tell her how much I want
Mm.
her and all of that. And I will say, I got into some crazy situations that you'll read about in the book.
Yeah.
But it was all due to, so I start out in the beginning. Let me just take you through. The love is the love that me and my husband had.
Yeah.
That love can never be duplicated.
Yeah.
That was one season, a 32-year season in my life that
Mm-hmm.
abruptly ended.
Yeah.
And here I am in this season of grief and trying to heal and trying to date. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to emphatically say it, and I say it in my book. Do not date if you're not healed.
Mm.
Do not. If you are broken, if you are still grieving, do
Yes.
not open yourself up to dating, because you will find yourself in situations that you could have
Mm.
never imagined being in. And people will use your grief against you. People will use your men, I'm speaking of, will use your grief to
Mm.
play on you, to
Yeah.
play games, to get their financial needs met, all while draining you emotionally and financially. And so that's the lust part, the lust of knowing the difference, learning the difference between somebody loving you and somebody lusting after you, and
Mm-hmm.
you giving in to that lust. And
Yeah.
then the starting again is, I'm coming out of another relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so the starting again is now working on me.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, you are so deserving and so worthy of so much more. So now all of these experiences I've had in dating, I now know what to look out for. I now know what to be mindful for. I get up every morning and I say, God, give me eyes to see, ears to hear, and discernment of spirit, so
Mm.
I can read the wolves and sheep's clothing before
Mm-hmm.
they even step in my path.
Yes, Lord. Yes, yes. Before they even zip up their costume and get ready
Yes,
for a show, right? You
yes,
already see it. You see the zipper. You like, no, no, no.
but I
Discernment
will.
is a beautiful thing when dating. Look, you said don't date when you're not healed. Listen, don't date without discernment, ladies. Look, and men, like I don't want to discriminate nobody. Look,
Yes,
don't date without
yes,
the discernment, because that
yes,
thing is real out there.
yes, and it is. And so, even though I'm ending a relationship now, I'm still open to
Mm-hmm.
love again,
Yes.
because I've always been a wife. So I tap into the word, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
only a good thing, I'm a great thing.
Come
I
on,
was
somebody.
I was created by the creator. I'm a good thing, a great thing. And so now I'm just doing what God has called me to do, write this book, um, do podcasts, minister to moms. I'm on a different journey and
Yeah.
I'm in a different season. And you have to learn. The one thing I pride myself on, Dr. Sheniqua, is realizing that people come into your life for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
a season, and a
Mm-hmm.
lifetime.
Yeah.
And we have to learn as women, when the reason is up, you got to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
When the season is up, you got to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do people come into your life for a lifetime. I thought my husband was going to be a long, long, not just 32 years, but that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we'd grow old together and still be fighting over the remote control about what we're going to watch on TV well into our 80s.
Yeah.
And so that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm realizing that my pastor says God wastes nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't look at these encounters as bad things now. I did before I wrote
Mm-hmm.
the book. But now that I've written a book, each one has taught me something.
Yes.
Each definitely taught me, don't date while you're trying to heal. When
Mm-hmm.
you're broken, don't date.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe everything somebody tells you when they tell you, oh, you're pretty, you look good, you smell good, this and that, and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things, and sending you kissy emojis and whatever. They got two, three, or four. They doing that same thing too every morning. That
Come
good
on.
morning, beautiful.
Come on. Mm-hmm.
So I really have learned that when people's season is up, to let it go. And I remember a girlfriend who I've been friends with for years. She always gives me sound spiritual advice. She sent me a picture of a balloon and the words, let it go. And I
Mm.
thought, okay. She said, the Holy Spirit told me to send you that.
Wow.
And I already knew what I
Mm-hmm.
needed to do. But I struggled. I
Yeah.
struggled out of fear of being alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I will say, because I lost my husband, I wasn't, people think I was looking to replace him. That's
Mm-hmm.
not what I was doing. I was looking to replace the void of
Mm-hmm.
him. There was a void. I
Mm-hmm.
could no longer put my cold feet on him. I could no
Mm-hmm.
longer lay on his chest. I could no longer have pillow talk with him. I could no longer, he was the chef in the family. Come home from church and dinner would be ready. All
Right.
of that was gone. 32 years of being with someone and just cuddling up with them and being intimate with them. That was gone. So I never tried to replace him. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to fill the void.
Yeah.
And filling the void, you don't look for the red flags.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend said, I got a pocketbook full of red flags. She said, Ronnie, every time you looked at the red flag, you just put it in your pocketbook. Just you just
Mm-hmm.
ignored it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
finally, when I got to God and I said, give me discernment of
Yeah.
spirit, all the red flags came flashing back.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Because yeah, we all go through our different times and our different seasons with it all. I've got a couple of quick questions for you. And it's not that I think that the audience is asking us. It's for me. I want to know. Sorry, y'all. This one for me. But I wanted to know, Ronnie. When did you know you were ready?
Well, I will say I wasn't ready when I met the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and I dated him for a year and a half.
Okay.
I wasn't ready when I met the second one, who I dated for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was ready when I met the third one, who was a Philadelphia police officer. But I think with him, I was starting to see. He was a big Kevin Samuels fan.
Okay.
And so he spent a lot of time just saying things to me that I didn't think anything was wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
But my girlfriends were like, are you listening to what he's
Mm-hmm.
saying to you? He's degrading you, he's
Mm-hmm.
putting you down. And then I had a male friend hit me in the head. He said, Ronnie, this man doesn't even like you.
Ooh.
He doesn't like anything about you.
Wow.
Matter of fact, he is jealous of everything that you have done and gained
Wow.
since your husband died. And
Wow.
I was beginning to bawl, and he was like, you better not cry. I'm
Hmm.
spitting you the truth as a man.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you tell me all the stuff this man has said to you.
Mm.
He doesn't like you. And that's when it hit me like,
Mm.
oh my God. But
Yeah.
the devil's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the fourth one came, he came looking good,
Mm.
smelling good. Our first date was to a concert and dinner and drinks. I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then, and that was almost 3 years in. And then I got discernment again. And it was like, he ain't the one. So
Wow.
I'll say with each one, I got to the God just kept leading me. Like, okay, you had that experience, that's over. Okay, you had that experience, you had no business in that, get that's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've been in this for a minute, that's
And you
over.
can sit there and take notes. Okay, okay. And this one was wrong with this one. Okay, okay. Like a student, right? So
Right.
I love that you didn't give up. I love that you didn't just, you know, put aside, oh, this doesn't work, this is not for me, and just resolve yourself to being, alone and having to deal with that void. I love how you just kept going. And many people might have clenched their pearls when she was like, well, when the first one didn't work out, the second one didn't work out, and some people might have been clenching their pearls, but I was sitting
Yes.
here with the popcorn like, yes girl, go for it, right? Because it's your practice,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
you rediscovering who you are, what you like, what you don't like. And to God be the glory. God gets all the glory from it, that you were able to see, and you
Yes.
could comb through the notes, and you could then be able to finally say, okay, I'm ready now. Because that was
Yes.
practice. That was practice. I was just
Right.
getting sea legs together, and now I'm ready to go in. But kudos to you for not giving up, and for be willing to try again and seeing it for what it was. And the last thing, you made a comment about people are here for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. And I believe that with a lifetime, it is indeed a lifetime. It doesn't necessarily say that that person is going to be there forever and ever. Amen. That's the way we think it. That's the way we
Right.
envision it when we see the word lifetime. But it could just mean the place in your heart. Right.
Right.
So your husband hasn't gone anywhere. He still reserves a place in your heart. And he has
Yes.
now made you a new creation. You became a new creation with this identity of, I'm a widow. I've lost my first spouse, but it becomes a part of your new identity as you go forward, right? And if people want to be vultures and attack that when they meet you, well, God gonna handle them swiftly. But that's still your new identity. That is a part of the renovation project. That is a part of the restorative project, right? That you can get rid of all of the original bricks except one.
Yes.
And so that piece you do carry with you for a lifetime, and that shapes who you are as Ronnie. It
Right.
shapes you. And so I believe that. Even if, he were still alive, if you had all separated or whatever, he still could have been your lifetime person, that you would still
Yes.
take those traits, those things that you learn, those things that you love, and you carry it in your heart to go into your next. And I
Right.
think it's just about how we define these things in our lives. And I'm thankful to you and your testimony. And y'all know I got to get this book, even if I start in the middle of it, girl. I got to read this book. I got to read it. I got to read it
Oh,
because it sounds like it's an
yes.
important piece to the story that many of us are too. Many people are standing on the sidelines and they don't want to date again.
Right.
And that's, I asked you that question about how did you know you were ready?
I
Well,
believe I'm ready now
yes,
because of all that I went through. But the other
yes,
reason I wrote this book, Dr. Sheniqua, is because I'm a Christian woman and I
mm-hmm,
found myself engaging in behavior that wasn't really Christian like. And what I want my sisters to understand is you have nothing to be ashamed of.
mm-hmm,
God sees all, God knows all, and He still loves us.
yes,
It's just that when you recognize you don't belong in those situations and He gives you the out,
mm-hmm,
take the out.
yeah, yeah,
So that's what I wanted because I know people, even in my book, there's a couple of scenarios where I actually say, Ronnie, what the heck were you thinking? Why were you even in this?
yeah,
And so I want women to not be ashamed because
mm-hmm,
sometimes we don't go back to church because we wondering how people are looking at us or talking
mm-hmm,
about us. And even with me, it was like, well, how soon after my husband died should I be dating? How
mm-hmm,
soon after my husband died should I be out here? Did I want to do online or did I want to do person?
mm-hmm.
Well, I did online, Facebook online for 2 weeks, and I met a bunch of creeps and crazies on
Oh
there.
boy, oh boy,
So no more online. And I
yeah,
remember God said, I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to put no
mm,
profile on Facebook. So then I
mm,
was meeting people in person and I was like, okay, well, they could be just as bad as the
they
people
can,
online.
yeah, yeah,
So I can say now I value who I am.
yes,
I value who God created me to be.
yeah,
And I tell people I had unconditional love
mm-hmm,
for 32 years.
yeah,
And there are seasons in my life. And this season that I'm in doesn't require me being out looking for a man.
mm-hmm,
This season requires Ronnie to be Ronnie.
yes,
Do Ronnie. And when
yes,
time comes, if it comes, because
yeah,
I've also learned, because the two words I hated when my husband died was widow and single. Never
mm-hmm,
thought those words would be associated with me. So if you call me single or call me a widow, I look at you side eyeing it.
yeah, yeah,
But now I'm embracing my widowhood. I'm embracing my singlehood.
yes,
I'm embracing where I am. I finally accepted you're single. You don't have a man in your life.
yeah,
You are by yourself,
mm-hmm,
and it's okay. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to break because you're single. You're not going to fall apart because you're single.
Yeah,
God got me. There's a protective covering over me. God
yeah,
has dispatched angels
that's right.
to do battle on my behalf. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do nothing but what it says in Psalm 46:10. Be still and
Mm-hmm.
know that I am God.
Come on now. Come on. She preaching today. She preaching today. Listen, I am excited. Let me get your Facebook up. You all make certain that you are connecting with Ronnie. She is a wealth of inspiration and knowledge and power, and she's a great person to connect with. So if you're on Facebook, hit her up, hit her up. If you're on Instagram, she little lady Latham. Come on now. And listen, don't forget to get a copy of her book. You can connect with her personally. It's available on Amazon. So find that book, Love, Lust, and Starting Again. And so we're going to be circulating it on our social media platforms so you guys can get it when you see it. But Ronnie, thank you so much for being a guest and for sharing your testimony with us all. Do you
Thank
have
you.
any parting words you'd like to share with us?
Yes. I just want with this particular book, I want my sisters to understand that you can have a period of love, you can have a period of lust, but it's not too late to start again.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Ronnie, hang out for just a second. Let me give the people their marching orders. Baby, was that not good? That was so good. I love the starting over. And I hope that this segment was the encouragement that you need, no matter where you are. If you're dealing with grief, if you're dealing with some other type of area that you need healing in your mind, your body, your spirit, there is a newness that comes on the other side of it all. So I thank you all for tuning in. Listen, don't forget, you've got work to do. You got to share this message out with all the single ladies, right? And all of the people that you know who could use these words of encouragement. Hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this momentum of encouragement going because we live in a world that we all need it day by day. So until next week, you all have a beautiful and blessed evening. And I will see you again on the next episode of the Black Girl Encourage Her. Be blessed.